The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra.
11 years in a row, a gold medalist. And in swimming, you're the South Asian gold medalist. I feel if you would have done that, we could have at least gotten an Olympic medal or an Asian Games medal for the country.
The toughest game on earth is water polo.
How is Rohit Sharma as a person?
Very humble. I met him in Alibag. I just told Rohit, in today's generation, whether you or Gautam Gambhir or Virendra Sehwag or Tendulkar or Suresh Raina or Yuvraj Singh or MS Dhoni, just clear the ground at will. So is it your physical strength or it is your timing or wood has become so good? So he just removed his t-shirt and said that, sir, look at my hand. My hands are so thin.
We talk about people like Vedant Madhavan, Advait Page. Do you think the future of India in terms of swimming is bright from the point of view that probably in LA 2028 we can expect a medal in swimming?
One of the fastest swimmer of the country, Kanisha Gupta, was my student. As far as Olympic is concerned, the physical stature of maybe Jews, Parsis, Muslims or Christians is different as compared to we Indians.
We missed out on so many medals, like let's say Lakshya Sen. In some sense, Neeraj Chopra also, the gold that we missed.
You know, sometimes apart from your hard work, talent, sincerity, you need a little bit of luck factor.
One very controversial thing that happened was Vinesh Phogat. Her being 100 grams overweight. Do you think there was something more to that probably hasn't been highlighted, or it was just her bad luck again, like you mentioned?
25 years of hard work is decided by just that one night, and the fate is decided by one night. So sometimes destiny, sports are cruel. At top level when you are playing the game now, if you don't have this will not matter. But if you have talent and hard work plus family support, all this thing combined come up and makes you a champion.
Let's take an example of Manu Bhaker. She is not being treated as a sports person, she's being treated as a celebrity. So do you think the celebrity stature that we give to our Olympians or our cricketers, is that good for them or not? 11 years in a row, a gold medalist. Honestly, we are sitting today with no one less than a legend. He is a South Asian gold medalist as well. He has had the honor to represent the Indian team. And not only as a player, but as a vice captain of the Indian team. He has also interacted with players like Rohit Sharma, Harbhajan Singh, and many other great personalities. This person has been a pinnacle of success in the lives of so many people and has mentored over 25,000 individuals to help achieve their success. And the sport that I'm talking about, it's not a very orthodox sport. It is water polo. Today, I have the honor and I have the privilege to host in another episode of TRP, Mr. Nirav Vora. Sir, thank you so much for coming, and it is going to be an honor to interact with you. It's going to be an honor to talk to you. I'm so excited for this episode.
Thank you, Pritesh. I think it is an equally big honor for me as well.
Sir, before we start with the episode, how are you, sir?
Absolutely fine. Looking forward to having a chat with you.
Right. So, sir, as I said in the introduction, water polo, you have been a part of the Indian team, and in swimming, you're the South Asian gold medalist. So why water polo? I mean, why didn't you consider going into swimming only? If you would have, I feel if you would have done that, we could have at least gotten an Olympic medal or an Asian Games medal for the country.
To be very honest with you, my swimming career started little late. Okay, so usually a child gets into competitive swimming at 7 or 8. But by the time I learned swimming, I was 11. And somewhere as a child, you know, I used to tell my parents that in swimming, you only keep on doing up and down, up and down, up and down. You don't have to use your brains. So somewhere there, I told my parents that I am interested in ball game. And that is how I diverted to water polo. So that is how the career started in the world of water polo.
So if we talk about water polo as a sport, in 1951, we won the Asian Games gold medal. In 1970, we won the silver medal. And 1982, we won the bronze medal. After that, water polo has, I feel as a sport, we haven't got that recognition, or we haven't been able to perform that well in the international stage if you compare it with the recent age. What do you think is the reason behind that?
So I think in 82 Asian Games, as you rightly said, that we got a bronze medal. And in 86, we stood 5th. But then after that, for at least a decade or so, government could not send Indian team outside for tournaments. So the international exposure died down absolutely for a generation or so. Because India had, in 1991, India had a foreign exchange crisis. There were times that for Asian Championship to Japan in 91, the team was announced, it came in the newspaper, but because of foreign exchange crisis, it wasn't cleared. So I think it was our bad luck on that front. Okay, but if consistently, if the teams would have been cleared and if you would have got that international exposure over a period of time, then I think we could have ensured that we could have at least maintained where we were.
Right, right. Sir, before, I mean, I didn't mention this earlier, but you have been the best player. You got the Best Player Award in 1989, and you have been, for 10 years in a row, the best player that the Railways team has seen. So can we talk about, for 10 years, how did you maintain that consistency? Because when you talk about 10 years in a playing career, especially a sport, to maintain yourself at that level is not something that everyone can do. So what was your mentality and how did you motivate yourself to be that?
So I personally feel with all humility, but I think a bigger stage got the best out of me. Okay. So in a normal camp, I would be going little easy. But when you are playing a national finals or something like that, and being a goalkeeper, most of the time, if you see a game like football also, goalkeepers are the captain of the team because goalkeeper is the only player who can witness the whole field. Okay. So the graph of defense is being formed by goalkeeper. At times the graph of attack is also being formed by the goalkeeper. Okay. So I somehow strategically, I was pretty strong. So I could, guide the team little more nicely. Okay. Because those other players had to swim also, had to encounter that tiredness also, that physical strength also. Okay. But continuous talking, taking the calls on behalf of the team. And somewhere I think I was very good at it. And that is what helped me going. And then as my Indian team coach used to always tell me that Nirav, a goalkeeper, a good goalkeeper can play 40% of the game. So if I'm doing good, then the team can sail through. If a player makes a mistake, there is nobody to make up for it. But if I make a mistake, then it straight away reflects on the scoreboard. So these were some of the responsibility and understanding I had of the game, which took me ahead for this 10 years in a row.
सर आपने बात की अभी गोलकीपिंग के बारे में जो यू वर द गोलकीपर फॉर द इंडियन टीम एज वेल एंड व्हाई आई वुड से इफ वी टॉक अबाउट अ स्पोर्ट अ टीम स्पोर्ट somebody's first thought, at least my first thought, wouldn't be that I want to be a goalkeeper. I'd probably want to play in the field. Why did you was goalkeeping a calculated decision that you thought about that I want to be a keeper, or you saw something that took you towards goalkeeping?
So see, as a child, I was very fond of playing cricket, which required hand-eye coordination. And somewhere my Indian team coach jokingly always used to say that a diver or a goalkeeper or a boxer, they have to be little eccentric and mad. Okay, because you may get a ball on your face, you get hit regularly, you have to take all these things in stride. And because of that hand-eye coordination, it actually happened that in one of the club matches, our goalkeeper was absent. And my first match, because there was no other option, I was put in the goal post by my coach. And somehow I ended up saving 2 penalty shots. So since that time, I was made the permanent goalkeeper. And then going ahead, then life took care of itself.
So goalkeeping was something that you enjoyed, or you wish you played in the field, considering you used to command the entire field, and doing it as a goalkeeper probably would be a little, I would say, it would have been a task for you as compared to if you were in the field, let's say, and you could attack, you could defend at the same time. Would that have been easier for you?
No, I think I could have done more better justice as a goalkeeper because of the hand-eye coordination, the frequency of shot that I could stop, which were more than most of the goalkeepers in the country. And apart from that, the game control, the understanding of the game I had. If I would have been just merely a player, okay, like if you have seen a game like football, if the player all the time is running, he cannot control rest of the 10 players. Okay, here, all the time I am in the goal post, so I can see, I can talk, and all the time they are not attacking at my end. So I can form the strategy much better, understand the situations much better.
Right. So when we talk about water polo as a sport, I mean, I have followed the Olympics this time very, very closely, not just India's matches, but other international matches as well. And I looked at water polo. You need to know swimming. You need to be athletic. You need to have that hand-eye coordination that you said. So can we say that water polo is a ruthless sport at the same time?
So
Or an intense sport, if that is the best way to put it?
if I say International Olympic Association has defined the toughest game on earth is water polo.
Okay.
Because in a good game of water polo, you end up swimming almost 3 kilometers.
Wow.
Okay. And that is a swimming aspect. And apart from that, ball handling aspect, physical fight that you have under the water,
Right.
okay, with your opponent. So to that extent, I can say that in 1936 Olympics,
Right.
the color of the water had turned red.
Red.
And they could not held the 1936 Olympics finals because of that reason. And in my career, I have seen that the strongest Indian player ever, okay, in a match against Iran in 86 Asian Games, he lost his 2 or 3 teeth. Okay. I know somebody who lost his eye while playing water polo. So, you know, all these things are part and parcel of the game. But a good sportsman always believes in one thing. And it was the jargon of Indian team that don't talk about the labor pain, see whether the baby has been delivered or not.
Right.
So on those lines, we were always working.
Right. Any intense, I would say, moments in your career during water polo where, because we were having a conversation on the previous day where you told me that, there were some serious moments while you're in the pool, outside the pitch, whatever it may be. But can you talk about any serious and intense moments that you had while you were playing the sport?
So see, there are a lot of such moments, and at that spur of the moment, there is a little bit of sledging also happening. Okay, you play around with the mind of the opponent. So there is a game from spectators' point of view, but there is a game within the game between two rival teams and two opponents. That what I can see, what opponent is doing, and what spectator would see are two totally different things. And vice versa, that is how they would also gauge us in the same fashion. Okay, so there are definitely, the stakes are very high, national finals and all these things. Okay, so little bit of sledging here and there happens, and those all are part and parcel of the game. But once when the game is over, with the same opponent you shake hand, and if you have used any slang or something like that, you just tell him sorry, just take it lightly, and then go along with them only for a cup of tea.
Right.
So those all things are happening. Means at top level, when you are playing, the stakes are so high that in a neck-to-neck game, you happen to get mentally blank. But as I always say, that at that point of time, the person who can think is a step ahead. So maybe having gone through this 10, 11 times, it became a part of the system. And somewhere that kind of a pressure helped us raise the bar also. Okay, so that was it.
Would you consider yourself to be a very calm, docile player who used to just think and not react, or an aggressive player who used to react, who used to think, and who used to give it to the opponent at the same time?
See, the previous generation of player used to tell us that don't go on your opponent's ego, or else they will turn aggressive. But somewhere when our time came, the path changed, because we were also looking up to some professional sports like cricket and all these things. In our era, the Australians were sledging. Even Pakistani had a cricketer like Javed Miandad and Imran Khan and all of them. So somewhere what we did in our sport, which was a total turnaround, is that we used to go on opposition's ego. And somewhere they would succumb to that pressure and make the job simpler for us. Okay, our previous generation had told us to play like a gentleman. But even when we played international water polo, okay, they would pull your swimsuit in the case that swimming costume is being torn. They keep kicking you, hitting you under the water. Okay, so you just can't keep on taking it. At times you have to give it back. But that is for the betterment of the sport, nothing else.
Right.
Nothing personal.
So that's whatever happens in the heat of the moment.
Yes, in the game.
So it's not something that you thought that I will come into the pool with that mindset that I am going to dominate, I am going to give it to them. Or
absolutely. But see, whenever you play the game, there is a very thin line between crossing the line. Okay. So if I play, I do something wrong, okay, then if I'm checked out of the pool, so in a team event, it is always said that you make a mistake and rest of your 12 members suffer morally and ethically, it should hurt you. But if you are swimming an individual event, you make a mistake and you suffer is fine. But morally and ethically, it should hurt you that other 12 are suffering. So you have to go till the line to such an extent whereby you or your team members are not paying price for the same. Okay, but that going till that, stretching to that level, okay, that gets the best out of you, and that is an aggressive temperament also. And it is individual personality. That aggressive temperament somewhere got the best out of me. So those things used to happen, but with God's grace, never crossed the line.
Right. So there wasn't a single moment where you found a player who was as aggressive as you, I would say, who you were giving it to and the other person was also giving it back to you.
I think somehow the way you learn from all the sports. Somehow our exposure to reading, watching topmost sport, hearing great commentators from a game like cricket, hearing maybe Gavaskar or Ravi Shastri as a commentator, somewhere we could add value to our sport also, which everybody did not do. So the perception about the games that we formed were much better as compared to other players. So we were the people who started with this kind of an aggression, and maybe at the twilight of our career, at the end of our career, we could see other junior kids picking up those things from us. Okay, so that is how, means game has to evolve, and you learn from the previous generation and you give it to the next generation. It's that.
So, sir, when we talk about water polo as a sport, it involves so many things, like I mentioned, swimming being one of the most important attributes that a water polo player needs to have. So going into the swimming segment of, I would say, India right now, we talk about people like Vedant Madhavan, you have Richa Mishra, you have Advait Page, and so many other swimmers who have done well recently, who are, getting better and better. So do you think the future of India in terms of swimming is bright, from the point of view that probably in LA 2028 we can expect a medal in swimming?
To be very honest with you, I would love if India gets a medal at the Olympic. So one of the fastest swimmer of the country, Kenisha Gupta, was my student at the age of 6. So when you are asking me that when will India win a gold medal, means I also, or a medal at the Olympics in swimming. In Asian Games, I think we are already making some waves in it. But as far as Olympic is concerned, the physical stature of maybe Jews, Parsis, Muslims or Christians is different as compared to we Indians. We Indians or we Hindus have got brains more. Okay, but not the kind of physical strength that they may possess. Means the world champion before Michael Phelps was Ian Thorpe, and his shoe size was 17 number. Okay, what I can maximum think of in my era of swimmer was maybe 10, 11, 12, or on a higher side if I go maybe 13. But between 13 and 17 also there is such a huge gap. It is like compared to Indian swimmers, they are swimming with flippers. What I'm talking about is the best in the business, Jan Thorpe then, but it's more of a generalized term.
Sir, considering the swimmers that we have right now, do you think there is a possibility or not? And the level of swimming that our swimmers have done, because I think this year also we had Shri Hari represent India, and unfortunately he didn't win a medal. But that representation part that you just spoke about is an aspiration for a lot of other athletes. So do you think we are getting better, or there's still time for us?
At Asian Games level, definitely. But at Olympic or World Championship level, still time to go. Okay. The most vital thing is the physical strength that it demands.
So, sir, when we talk about the physical strength, we have 1.4 crore people in this country. And, sorry, not 1.4 crore, 1.4 billion people in this country. 140 crore people. And that is around 50 to 100 times more than the dominating countries in such tournaments like Olympics, Asian Games and all. So why is it such an issue for us to recognize talent, to get people into the sport when we have so many people and we have so many options available? Still, we are just probably dominant in one or two sports. That's it.
So see, I'll put it other way. If you see a sport like cricket, if you go to 70s, okay, or 60s, or 80s, till the time Kapil Dev made India win the World Cup, okay, or even maybe 90s or something like that, okay, Australian team was far superior to our team. And in Australian team, there are in country, Australia as a country is such a sports dominating country that they have got tennis, they have got water polo, they have got football, and many more sports, rugby and everything. So the amount of people playing cricket would be 10, 15, 20,000. So from 10, 15, 20,000 people, they have to select the best 11. In a country like India, okay, there were lakhs and maybe even a crore people playing cricket. From that, you have to take 11 best player. So when you have a quantity, quality will take care of itself. It's always being said. Okay, and then going ahead, we got IPL, money flourished. People started taking up cricket very, very seriously. There were 40 years where Mumbai won the Ranji Trophy, and suddenly you see the topmost country's player are coming from the backward areas like Mahendra Singh Dhoni coming up from Ranchi, and other cricketers also coming from backward area. Okay, so but now they are willing to make career in sports, and Don Bradman always used to say that our sports of a nation is decided by the economy of the nation. So hoping that with our economy flourishing, one fine day, as you said, that we would also dream of an Olympic medal in swimming and do a world of good in water polo as well.
So, sir, now that we were talking about Olympics, I want to take us back to the Paris Olympics just happened. We won 1 silver medal and 5 bronze medals. And do you think it was a heartbreak in some sense because we missed out on so many medals, like let's say Lakshya Sen, the badminton duo Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy, Mirabai Chanu? We missed out on so many opportunities that we had. And I would say in some sense Neeraj Chopra also, the gold that we missed, he got a silver. But do you think those were missed opportunities or probably India wasn't up to the mark?
I'll tell you, all the names that you have taken, you know, sometimes apart from your hard work, talent, sincerity, you need a little bit of luck factor. Means just last week you must have read Rahul Dravid's interview, and I witnessed that World Cup final in Ahmedabad. He said we missed Travis heads bet at least 16 times. Okay. And I think that was nothing but a luck. In a same fashion, in a crucial situation, 30 runs, 30 balls, India could sail through. So somewhere that little luck element is also required to get that kind of a medal. So I look up to this all kids who have stood 4th or 5th or something like that. I think they also deserve those kudos that as good as they have won the medal for the nation. Okay.
So now that we were talking about Olympics, one very controversial thing that happened was Vinesh Phogat, the entire controversy that was there. I want to know your view on this, considering you've been a sports person for a majority of your life. When we talk about sports which involve weight categories like boxing, wrestling, jitna I have read, what I have seen is it's very normal for players to gain weight after their bout, and overnight they will lose weight to become that weight category to be able to participate in that. Her being 100 grams overweight, do you think there was something more to that probably hasn't been highlighted, or it was just her bad luck again, like you mentioned?
I think my heart goes for that girl. Okay. But only maybe consolation can be. See, if she would have got a gold medal for the country, we would have gone to Marine Drive with India flag in our hand, coming out of the car and waving that. Okay. But at least what I'm happy about is that 140 crore people stood behind that girl. Okay. And 25 years down the road, you will not remember that who all got the medal for the nation, but everybody will remember what this girl underwent. Okay. So for me, she is nothing short of a champion, and this kind of a bad luck do happen. And what pinches me is that 25 years of hard work is decided by just that one night, and the fate is decided by one night. So sometimes destiny sports are cruel. Okay, so it has if talent, this, that, everything you have, but that little amount of luck factor is required to sail through at the top level. Ideally, I have to compare her. I would prefer to compare her with Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon as good as conquered the whole world, and from Indian side, from Indian contingent, nobody would have been better than Vinesh Phogat to get an Olympic gold medal. She also conquered the world from India's point of view. But to her bad luck, she did not get the gold medal. So when I'm comparing her with Napoleon Bonaparte, what I mean to say is that nobody knows who won the Battle of Waterloo, but everybody knows that Napoleon lost the Battle of Waterloo. Here, the same philosophy applies to Vinesh Phogat also. Today, if you are sitting with me after so many days before which Olympic got over, I can tell you and vouch for it that 95 or 98% of Indian would not know who won that gold medal in Olympics in wrestling. But everybody knows that Vinesh Phogat lost that medal.
But sir, the reason I asked you this question was, if you look at boxers, Vijender Singh himself said that before a fight he lost 6 to 8 kgs. Mary Kom lost 4-5 kgs just before a fight. So the fact that Vinesh Phogat probably could not do it, do you think that in some way is the coaching, the support staff's fault, or is it her fault, or who can be blamed, if anyone has to be blamed for this?
See, I have not, what we have seen is we have seen via media only, but I heard an interview of a nutritionist. They said that a professional nutritionist should go along with the team, who could have taken care of these things much better than what support staff was doing. So that is what my understanding is. Okay, and as I said, that people commenting on this, that Vijender Singh commented, this commented, lot of time, you can be wise after the event. And sometimes when you are going through those kind of an event, some kind of jerks do happen. Means in a sports like swimming, few years back, I'm training at CCI club also, and this guy had come, Veer Dhaval Khade, who got an Asian Games bronze medal. And I asked him a question that, Veer, how was the night before the finals? He said that in the morning I stood second in the heats, timing wise. Okay. And in the evening I stood third. In the same fashion, somebody like Khazan Singh, 86 Asian Games silver medalist in swimming. I think one of the finest swimmer India ever saw. So when I went for Asian Championship to Bangkok, Julian Bolin, a legendary Sri Lankan swimmer, was having breakfast with me. And he said that, Nirav, I witnessed that event, that in the morning heats, the Japanese on the right stood first, Khazan stood second. So Khazan knew that I have to catch hold of this guy. And throughout the swim, Khazan was only keeping, from the corner of his eye, he was viewing that guy. But it happened that in last 4 seconds, Khazan Singh realized that the other Japanese from the left surpassed him, who was third in the heat. So Khazan was aiming at this guy. Khazan beat this guy, but the guy on the left surpassed him. And Julian Bolin told me that, Nirav, if that distance would have been 5 meters more, I would have still put all my money on Khazan Singh. But by the time he realized this, so how destiny and fate plays a vital role is that 25 years of your hard work, the fate is decided by either looking right or left. It's that.
Oh, I think that's a wonderful way that you've put it, honestly, because I feel it's just a matter of a few seconds, even if not minutes, that changes your fate at times.
Here the fate is defined by only looking here or looking here. If you would have looked here that guy is going ahead of you, you get that pacing to raise the bar.
So do you feel the fact that he was only focused on one person, probably because that person would have been really great in swimming and he wanted to surpass him. So at times, what we as people, we look up to our competition and we want to better them. Is that a right attitude to have in sport?
See, to be the best, you have to challenge the best. And when you challenge the best, that is when you are recognized. Okay. So always you have to challenge the best if you want to be the best.
Right. So, an opinion of yours again, because you are a sporting legend. And one thing that I feel as Indians, if a sports person has played a certain tournament, let's say Olympics or the World Cup, they have won the World Cup or they've gotten a medal in the Olympics. When they come back home, they're not treated as sports persons, they're treated as celebrities. So that bifurcation that is there, let's take an example of Manu Bhaker, who did the entire nation proud. She won 2 bronze medals in Paris Olympics. But when she has now come back, exactly what I said, she is not being treated as a sports person, she's being treated as a celebrity. Citing an example, when Pat Cummins won the World Cup in 2023, he went back, he was treated very normally. When Australians, they went back after winning medals, they were treated very normally. So do you think the celebrity stature that we give to our Olympians or our cricketers, is that good for them or not?
I personally feel that normally whom do we consider celebrity? Film star? Okay. But I don't think so. They are that big a celebrity. For me, the biggest celebrity are the soldiers who are guarding our border, followed by sportsmen. And then comes everybody else. Okay. So if they are fighting for your nation, they are attaining something, glory, name for the nation, I think that is the best thing. Okay. And as you gave me an Australian example, so you will be surprised to know that an Olympic gold medalist representing Australia in swimming is a mere school teacher. Okay. Teaching in first and second standard, traveling by subway. Okay. And eating sandwiches on the roadside. Okay. So, maybe we have not, when we get 20, 30 medals like Americans or Australians or Germans, that is when maybe the way of thinking may change. But today, and the kind of facilities those people are getting, the kind of infrastructure and dynamics those people are getting, our sportsmen are not getting the same treatment. Okay. So, as I always say, that success is not about where you reach. It is from where you start and where you reach. They come from such a humble background, okay, where they may not be sure of getting 2-time bread butter, and then they go on to represent the country at the highest level. For me, they are biggest star.
Right. So that's very well put, the way you just talked about it. But the main reason because of why I wanted to know your opinion on this, the fact that when they get that attention, when they get that status, when they are getting money at the same time, which probably they haven't gotten throughout their life, do you think that deters their concentration and that focus from the sport? Because they are world champions. At that particular moment, they're coming home as world champions or a medalist. Giving them that hospitality, giving them that recognition, that focus will go or not, according to you?
I would say frequency of losing that focus will be with very, very less number of people. Because by the time they have attained that kind of a success, they have come up from the grassroots level. So they have seen all walks of life. Okay. So then they stay humble. And when they attain that kind of a success, then when they know that the stakes are high, they are going to be commercially also will be well placed, and they end up working little extra hard. Means out of 100, I can say that 95 or 98% of the people or sportsmen would think in that direction. 2% people here and there, it has more to do with their nature or individuality.
Right. I mean, there are numerous examples of this in the world of cricket.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And now the only thing is, because we are not so dominant in other sports, slowly we are getting better at athletics, we're getting better at shooting, we have consistently been winning medals in wrestling for the past 3-4 Olympics, and we were great at hockey at one point, then we had a dip, but now I think we're getting better. So do you think India will start investing more in sports as compared to what they used to do earlier? Now that when we are getting the medals, when you're getting the recognition, do you think that is going to increase or it's still going to take time?
No, absolutely. I think over last 5, 6, 7 years, I can see great change in the mindset also. And we Indians also, in last 10 years, have developed an extraordinary self-belief with our exposure to internet, media, everything. We have developed that extraordinary confidence.
So one thing that I just thought right now, Neeraj Chopra trains outside of India. Avinash Sable trains outside of India. Manu Bakar also for a very brief period was training outside of India. The people who are training outside of India, they are going and obviously Indians, they are going and they are winning medals. Do people who only train outside India winning medals, except for wrestling, because wrestling we have had a good history, but other than the wrestlers, the people who are only winning medals are the ones training outside of India. Is this an Indian problem that is there right now, which is to be addressed obviously? Will that take time, or it's just that abroad the players are detached from the Indian audience, the Indian media, so that's why they prefer and go over there?
See, India has not got many medals at Olympics level, as you rightly said.
Right.
So the countries which have got many more medals, their exposure to the sport,
Right.
their thinking in crunch moment,
Right.
their perception of that particular sport
Right.
is much better.
Right.
So when our present generation gets this kind of a perception, exposure, learning, then they will pass it on to the next generation.
Right.
If you just go back by 20 years, we had Gary Kirsten as a coach of Indian
India,
team,
right.
followed by Greg Chappell,
Right.
okay, followed by Duncan Fletcher.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you saw people like Ravi Shastri.
Right.
Then you saw people like Rahul Dravid.
Right.
You saw Sanjay Bangar.
Yeah.
You saw, right now we are seeing Gautam Gambhir.
Right.
And not only this, lot of other cricket playing nations, they prefer an Indian coach.
Right.
Because
right.
their understanding and exposure of the game is more better.
Right. Right.
So maybe as and when we progress, then we can have an in-house coach. But the dynamics, infrastructure, what are available abroad, okay, the training would definitely be better and superior.
Right. So you, like I mentioned at the start of the episode, you have worked with players like Rohit Sharma, Harbhajan Singh. You were part of the team bonding with Mumbai Indians. One question is, has sport become that intense, or has sport become that serious, or I would say fickle, that you need someone to help you bond because of the ego issues that players have, or they just don't want to bond and they just want to play the sport?
See, to be very honest with you, the team bonding session that I have with Mumbai Indian team was in 2008 and 2011. And that was also for a couple of hours. Okay. So I had to just make them play a game of water polo. Okay. So and they were supposed to then play table tennis also, paintball also, all these games. So my understanding is that if Mumbai Indian has taken a couple of domestic players who have never played international level, suddenly if they are asked to open the batting with Sachin Tendulkar, their legs may freeze only opening with Sachin Tendulkar rather than thinking about the opposition or the rivals. So when they play all this game with Tendulkar also, okay, they can open out. And then they can take life little easy and the job becomes more easier. And Tendulkar would eventually become their strength of how to read what the bowler is bowling or how the fields are placed,
right,
rather than seeing God at the other end and the legs freezing.
Yeah.
That should not happen.
Right. So was it just from a senior junior point of view, or was it from a conflict of interest point of view also, that two players are not getting along with each other to make them also?
No, absolutely. It means in today's generation, in professional generation, the stakes are so high that the players also have learnt with their kind of an exposure that there is no space for this minor differences or something like that. The stakes are too high. And finally, as I said, a sportsman will never talk about the adversity. They will only talk about the goal. That finally we have to win the IPL or we have to win the World Cup. These petty issues, if you hold on to it, you will never progress in life.
So the reason I asked you this was because I myself have been a sports person during my school days. I still play cricket, and I feel sometimes there are issues that is there within the team. So citing your water polo career as an example, did you have issues with your team, but you have to act professional with your teammates, but you had to act professional because you're in the professional setup? And do you think that same is there for other sports like cricket, and let's say football, other sports like that?
See, I think I'll just answer this question a little differently. So, in a game of water polo, being the captain of Western Railway team for 9 years, being the captain of Indian Railway team, okay, one lesson that I realized, that all my colleagues who are playing with me, who are juniors also, or seniors also, or whatever, but I can't expect them to have the same kind of a talent what I may have, or same kind of an understanding of the game that I may have. So I have to at times take them in with their limitations. Sometimes it will happen that they will commit a mistake and I would get angry and use a foul language to him. But that is out of frustration. But the next second, the second sentence will come from my mouth is that, okay, don't worry, jo ho gaya, wo bhul ja, aage ka soch, no problem, don't worry about this at all. So as a senior, you have to ensure that they don't fall under that kind of a pressure, succumb to the pressure from what I have told them in a wrong fashion. It must be a fraction of a second frustration because we have considered the goal because of his folly. But again, you have to make up fast. And if you have to do sledging, you have to do sledging with your opponent, not with your team member. You have to just guard them like your brothers.
I think Rohit Sharma sledges his own teammates. Just as a joke, you can.
It's more jokingly.
Yeah, of course.
It's more jokingly.
Right. But do you think that is sort of like just in a joking way, or that is to motivate the players as well?
No, it is asking them to be on guard. Don't take things lightly.
Right.
Okay.
So sorry, you were saying something.
Sorry, Rohit Sharma has got a typical sense of humor also, which we all enjoy.
Right. So the fact that you have worked with the Mumbai Indians, how is Rohit Sharma as a person?
Very humble guy. Means he may not even remember now, but I remember that that is the time when he was just making inroads into Indian team, and I met him in Alibag where this team bonding match was conducted. The day India won the World Cup, Indian team was celebrating till 5 o'clock in the morning in Taj, and at 7:38 from the same route we were heading to Alibag. Okay, so I just told Rohit after the game was over that we want to talk to you. So he sat on a swing with me and spoke to us for 20 minutes. Okay. And one question that I asked him that, Rohit, in today's generation, whether you or Gautam Gambhir or Virendra Sehwag or Tendulkar or Suresh Raina or Yuvraj Singh or MS Dhoni, you all just clear the ground at will. So is it your physical strength, or it is your timing, or the wood has become so good? In old days, there used to be a sweet spot to the bat. Now, if you see today's bat, every area is a sweet spot. So he just removed his t-shirt and said that, sir, look at my hand. My hands are so thin. Okay, it is just the timing. That was his answer. And I distinctly remember him telling me, means according to me, the finest batsman in white ball cricket that India has ever produced is Yuvraj Singh.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Virat Kohli also.
Right.
But the match finishing ability when India was not there against South Africa and Australia was Yuvraj Singh. Okay. I'm talking mainly from a span of time from 2003 to 2010-11, where Rahul Dravid conceded as a captain his spot to Yuvraj Singh that you go 2 down because you are the best batsman in the team. Okay, and as he was a finisher, and in 2002-03, Mahendra Singh Dhoni still had not come on the stage. Okay, but this guy was doing a brilliant job. So he told me, when I asked him, where do you rate Yuvraj? He said, the best batsman. That is what Rohit said. And one more thing he said is that Yuvraj has told me that, Rohit, if you don't get 8,000 test run, then you have not done justice to your career. Okay, now this was the big statement. Okay, an anecdote which I just shared with you.
8,000 test runs is a different achievement, I would say, which very few people are fortunate to achieve. But I feel as far as what Rohit has done for the country is just
absolutely mind-blowing. Means whether Rohit or Virat or Bumrah or Hardik or all of them, they just wear India color on their sleeves. And we are really, really proud of this generation of cricketer. Of course, all the generation, But these people, you look up to them.
Sir, I want the viewers to know one conversation that we had yesterday on call, which was where you told me that IPL is much more tough than a World Cup. And I would want the viewers to know your, thought process or your thought sense behind this statement as to why you feel the IPL is more tough than the World Cup.
See, in IPL, you play 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 matches. Okay, with a gap of only 3 days. Okay. And all the teams are so equally well placed that any team can beat any team. Okay, when you are playing a World Cup, there are a lot of time, there are knockout rounds. And you may have an easier opponent also, maybe a Kenya or Zimbabwe or some lesser known cricketing countries where you have a breathing space. In IPL, every 2 or 3 days you are playing a match. That too in a 40-degree temperature. And all the teams are so equally well placed. Okay. And in 1.5 months, when you are going to play 14, 15, 16 matches, all the time your mindset is not going to be at the top level. Okay. So then it is mentally the survival of the fittest. To play 15, 16 good matches, even if you are in a great form, to continue that going on for a longer period of time is a tough task. When you are playing these matches at the gap of 2 or 3 days, and the stakes are high, there is a lot of money involved in IPL and everything. Okay, so in a World Cup, for example, you had to play 3-4 great matches. But when you have to play 14, 15, 16 matches in a row, okay, and that it takes a sweat out of you. Okay, and as I said that India did not win a big tournament like a World Cup after 2011, maybe that the players immediately after IPL, big events used to happen, whether Test Cricket World Championship or any of the World Cup or something like that. Okay, so player had reached a saturation point playing IPL. But now I see that once we have won this World Cup, we will end up winning 2-3 in a row. Because player also have mentally prepared themselves to play cricket for 260, 270 or 280 days a year with same level of intensity. So the way we go and work out in the gym, the way there is a physical strength aspect, there is a mental strength aspect also. The more and more mental strength is tested, it only makes you stronger. Okay. So now I think now the great era of Indian cricket is going to start. And IPL in last few years, which was not conducive for us to play immediately a big event after IPL, now it will take a different shape altogether in my perception.
Yeah, so you are of the opinion that India will win the Champions Trophy?
See, again, as just few minutes back we had a discussion that certain luck factor is required.
Right.
But India is right there.
At the top,
yes.
Definitely. So, and I want to cite one, I would say, instance where you mentioned the mental game. In sport, do you think it's a 50-50 between mental capabilities and mental aspect as compared to the physical aspect, or the physical aspect pays more difference in sport?
See, at top level, when you are playing the game now, if you don't have this will not matter. Okay. So I always think that think from your mind, but play from your heart. You have to give an intensity of a warrior, an intensity of a soldier. Because whenever you go in a crunch moment, okay, you always have to look up to your soldiers, that they are playing a game of life and death. I am not playing a game of life and death. But I can stretch myself to that level to attain that. Okay. So I personally feel at top level, okay, mental toughness is the biggest contribution, because that mental toughness also defines your confidence. Okay, and on a sports field, I always believed since childhood that a person who may have a wrong superiority still is superior to people having inferiority and little more talent. Okay, because a guy with superiority will not underperform for sure. Okay, and going ahead with more practice, you develop that match temperament and you attain that.
So it's with experience and with, I would say, the longevity of players' careers, that's what makes them mentally focused, you would say? Or is it something that they have to develop?
See, one is mental strength is first it is inborn. And then secondly, what you make it refined and nurture it more and more. Okay.
So, I mean, in sport, because what I have also noticed is players don't target you here, they target you here.
Absolutely.
And if you are not strong here, then this doesn't make a difference, I feel.
See, Steve Waugh used to use a famous sentence he used to say a word by the name of mental disintegration. Okay, in that era, Australian used to sledge. They'll mentally play on your mind. Okay, like for example, one of the West Indian opening batsmen got 4 times out or not. So they would make him feel when he's going to the crease to bat that you are very ordinary and you are not made for this stage. Okay, so they can be humble outside the field, but they are horrifying on the field. And at times you have to do that. Okay, but again, you don't have to cross that line. You have to just go till that line, whereby you don't pay a price for it.
I feel, sir, people generally tend to cross that line as well, but they don't think of it from an it doesn't matter how this person feels. I'm here to win for my country or to win for my team. So do you think that attitude is right that they have? They're okay with crossing the line as long as they get the result.
See, that depends on the sports that you are playing. Now, in cricket, ICC has come out with so many rules that they are always noticing you from a very, very close quarter. Okay, in a game like cricket. Okay. And the stakes are so high, your reputation is so high, and players have also matured over a period of time. You look into the history and you said that, "Nahi, I don't want to end my career with this kind of a stuff." Okay. So you carry yourself reasonably good. But somewhere in your heart, at the bottom of your heart, that resilience is there that I have to win the trophy and come home.
So that is, I feel, personally seeing a lot of people sledging on TV, be it cricket, be it football, be it water polo. Sledging, I feel now has become a trend. People don't think of it, I want to target the other person and make him feel weak. I feel people from my generation especially, they feel like it is a cool factor that is there. That, I want to look cool on camera, I want to look cool on TV, so I want to sledge. It doesn't matter what happens.
When you are playing for your nation now, you don't think of how you are going to look on the camera. You have to just go and win for your country. That's it. Means your whole focus is in that direction, and sometimes in attaining that goal, the temperament also flares up, but you should know what line not to cross. So you have to go till a line where even if you pay a price, you can afford to pay that price. But as I said, in a team event, you do a wrong thing and you are one short player, okay, because of your mistake, other 12 members of your team pay a price is not fair to them. So morally and ethically, that should hurt you. Okay.
Sir, you have been a fantastic player in your career. Now you have shifted to the better side, which is coaching. Is swimming coaching something that is tough for you as a coach, that you have to teach people how to swim? Because sometimes people don't learn swimming throughout their entire lives, even though they keep practicing. So do you feel, yeah, that is dad who was just talking about it. So do you feel it is something that is inbuilt? I won't say inbuilt because it is again a talent that you learn, but you are a born swimmer or you're not a born swimmer. Is there something like this?
See, what talent God has given you, that you nurture, okay, with sincerity, hard work, discipline. And I always say that when a talent doesn't work hard work surpasses the talent. Okay. So the hours of, but if you have talent and hard work plus family support, all this thing combined come up and makes you a champion. Okay. The sacrifice that the parents also have to give is equally big. Okay. Means I have seen in my life that parents have given up on their career to make the child an Olympian or a great sports person or all those things.
So do you want to talk about any hardships that are there in coaching? Because as a swimming coach, you have to get into the water, you have to swim, you have to make sure that the other person is swimming well. And when they are competing, let's say I wouldn't say an Olympic stage, but a national stage, state stage, they need to be the best. So what goes into coaching those kind of players? Again, like, do you just tell them to swim for these many kilometers or practice this stroke or that stroke, or there's more to that as well?
The most vital thing is a bonding between the coach and the swimmer. the swimmer should be able to, you know, absolutely be comfortable with the coach. And as a teacher, I have always believed that whenever a child is in a water, I am a parent to the child. The kind of culture that they are getting at home, the same kind of a culture they share with me. But I'm more into basic training. But in advanced training, you don't utilize your 2 hours productively as a swimmer, and other swimmer in other club or other state, they utilize their time productively, they are ahead of you. So that is where a little more strictness comes into the coach in advanced training. In basic training, I want child to enjoy, learn scientifically all the stroke, and then take up swimming as a career.
Okay. So according to you, which is the most challenging stroke that personally you have, had, I wouldn't say an issue with, but it was very challenging for you to master? And from a third person point of view, if you had to teach that person that stroke, how would you go about it?
I would say, see, when you are learning in initial stage, when you are learning as a student, that time strokes like butterfly and all these things were tough. But teaching butterfly was also tough. But now people who have swam for many, many years, for them butterfly and all the strokes would naturally come and they would flow in. Okay. But amongst all the 4 stroke, I would say butterfly is a tougher stroke to teach, followed by freestyle.
Okay. Freestyle.
Yes.
Okay. Why would you say freestyle is tough?
Because you need physical strength as well as reflexes.
Okay.
Both the aspect. Breaststroke is an easier stroke.
Right.
Okay.
What about dolphin, sir?
Dolphin is butterfly stroke.
Okay, it's the same.
Butterfly stroke has got a dolphin kick.
Okay. Oh, I thought they were different. Like
No, they are
dolphin.
same.
Okay. I mean, sir, swimming definitely has its own challenges at the same time. But do you feel that, when we talk about swimming and water polo, the question I actually wanted to ask you this earlier, but it just came to my mind right now. Holding that ball in one hand, because as far as I'm aware, you're not allowed to use both the hands to hold the ball. And then paddling with your one hand, doesn't that take a physical toll on the body as well? So how do you train and condition to, be able to sustain that?
See, anything you do in life, even professionally, whether you are a politician or you are a sportsman or you are into corporate world, when you have spent years and years of life doing the same thing now, after a passage of time, it becomes a mechanism. So people who would see us play water polo, they would say that this is impossible to do. But when you have done that for years and years, it is a natural course for us. So I think you spend time doing a particular activity, unknowingly, automatically, you will master the art of it.
Right. Because, sir, in water polo, your feet are not touching the ground. You're floating. You need to float throughout the match, if I'm not wrong. And you're not allowed to hold your surroundings as well,
so,
right?
What you do is, you do breaststroke. You must have seen people swim. So in breaststroke work, in the drill of water polo, they make you do alternate kick. So rather than kicking both the legs together in breaststroke fashion, you kick alternately. And your hand moves sideways, which is known as sculling, which helps you stay above the water. But we have done that for so many years. If at our peak, if somebody would have told us, we would have undergone little stress and strain both. But you would have told us that for 24 hours stand in water doing this, it would have been simpler for us at that point of time.
24 hours.
Yes, absolutely.
At times, I mean, I personally felt I didn't get a clear answer to this, but physical strength overpowers mental strength. Do you think that is the case?
I would put it other way around, that when the physical strength is of equal level, then mental strength takes the charge. As I said, in a crunch situation, person who's thinking is always ahead of somebody who succumbs under the pressure. Because if for example, if the score is 6-all at the end of third quarter in a 4-quarter game, and if it's an Olympic final, then both the team knows what the stakes are. At 6-all, both of them are tensed, under pressure, tired. Okay. But at that time, somebody who can think and outthink the opponents strategically also and in execution also is always ahead. So as I said, that there is one game for spectators to watch, and there is another game which is a game within the game played by the two opponents.
Right. So when you are at the top level of the game, be it any sport, how do you keep yourself motivated? Because you have so many distractions at that point that it's very easy for you to fall off. So you gave an example of the Olympians as well when I asked you. But when we talk about players like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, they have been at the top for a long time. And that is very rare to see. You take Messi and Ronaldo's example, they've been at the top for 15 or 16, 20 years. What kind of a mentality would they be having for them to motivate themselves to be at the top the entire time?
When you are representing your country, there is no bigger motivation. There is no bigger motivation. And you have to be intellectually that good enough that you realize that what you are doing. Lot of time people may represent the country, but they have not realized that what responsibility are there on their shoulder. Okay. But that is a very rare case. People do realize because they have put in so many years of hard work to attain that level. Okay. And people who have not seen you fighting in your life to reach the top, they may sometimes put it as a luck. Okay. Not only in sports, in any walk of life. So they have not seen you that from how grassroots level you have been nurtured and you have been able to attain that level. So, and this, all people are real champions, that to have that kind of a focus, concentration for 15, 20 years, people at times happen to burn out. But they have still sustained there. With all good, bad things happening around them, with those adversity, but that helped them evolve as a human being.
I mean, so we have such personalities like you, Rohit, Virat, who are motivational figures for us as young individuals. Sir, any words of motivation that you would want to say to me, to all of us, and to all the viewers who are going to be watching this episode, to guide us through whatever we want to do in life?
See, in one-liner, if I say, there are few quotes that I can say, that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Okay. And with a persistent effort, if you have a belief and conviction, just stick to what you are doing. And over a period of time, your time will come. Your time will definitely come. But stick to it absolutely. Don't leave it midway. In whatever life you are fighting your battle, whether your sport, whether your career, everywhere. Good, bad time, everything keeps coming. But never ever get carried away with good time. Never ever get depressed with bad time. Under both the situation, your mental state of mind has to remain the same. Okay. You have to really rate yourself at your true intrinsic value.
Wow, sir. I mean, that's the best way that you put it. Extraordinary, that extra. I mean, just the way you spoke about it only was honestly really great. And, sir, to the viewers, they don't know this, but sir is a finance wizard as well. Sir, any tips on which stocks I should buy, sir?
I would not say stock or something like that. I'm a very small man. But what I would say is that the way people compound their money in market, okay, by spending time. In whatever sport you are playing, you spend time and unknowingly your mindset, your physical ability, all these things will get compounded and you will become all the more a better sportsman.
Right. So, considering we're talking about your finance, you've done your MBA as well, and you are completely involved, I would say, in the world of finance. You're a terrific reader, and you have read numerous books, and you have gained the knowledge through the love of reading which you have. So, do you feel India has the capacity to be, I would say, an entrepreneurial, I would say, a startup head in the future, with producing numerous companies? And do you feel we have the capacity to be the strongest and the biggest economy in the world in the coming 10, 20 years?
I always thought, at least over last 20, 25 years, that India is right there. If you see the CEOs in Wall Street, in US, most of the biggest companies are being led by Indians. Okay. Here in India also we have great people, but we did not have a great leader. Now a good leader has come and he's acted as a catalyst in only ensuring that all the policies fall in place, or else there are talented, hardworking people who will automatically take the country ahead. Maybe what we were jogging is now turning into a run. Today only, I think Moody's has come out with a statement that the GDP of India, they are enhancing it from 6.8 to 7.2. Today evening, they have come out with that kind of a comment. So I think India is right there. Only thing is, we should not commit any unforced errors. We have to keep on doing simple thing right, and then rest of the thing would automatically take care of itself.
So that you mentioned that, a lot of the CEOs on Wall Street, they're all Indians. So I would say they have left India and they have gone there because they feel that they have a better lifestyle over there. And what I have also noticed, that is still happening. So do you think with the new policies that are being created by the government and with the new incentives that are being provided to a lot of the other industries, will that stop? And will India have their own heads, and will India be a manufacturing or a service industry superpower?
So India at the moment is working on make in India. Okay, India just 2 weeks back, India was it came out in the news that India is the 5th largest manufacturer in the world. So we are going in that direction. Okay, process is right, over a period of time, outcome will take care of itself.
But sir, India has been a developing country, and I feel it still will be a developing country for the next 20 years at least. So don't you think because of that and because of the size of our population, this factor is always going to be a hindrance towards our development?
See, it is just the way you think. If we have got a population of 140 crore, secondly, our population of the younger age, the working age, is much more than the population at the older age. Okay. So, what weaknesses we have, we can't talk about that. What strength we have to just channelize our efforts on our strength and make it reach a top. Okay, means if I tell you that India being comparatively not being a developed country as compared to US. US gave all the subsidies and everything during the COVID time, and right now their economy faltered because of that. India did not do that, and now we are growing like anything. So to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. One way you think that it is an adversity, another way you think that there is an opportunity in that adversity.
So India that way I feel is self-sufficient, if that is the right word that I can use.
You have to keep working hard. That's it. To earn your bread butter. And if everybody earns their bread butter, then automatically self-sufficiency and all these things will be automatically taken care of.
Right. So I mean, to discuss these insights with you from with a sports person, to know about these things is honestly an honor that I have had today. And to know about your experiences, to know about your, I would say, the challenges that you have had, how you have overcome them, and how you still continue to motivate the younger generation is honestly an inspiration for me, for all of us, and to all the viewers who are going to be watching as well, sir.
Pritish, thank you so very much. And I love the way you are also carrying yourself, the way you are comparing. And there are no planned questions. You impromptu throw. Right. To my answer, that was even a learning for me as well.
So, I mean, all these questions, because when you're sitting in front of such a dynamic personality, I feel you want to know more about them. And it just came from my instinct, your experience, and which is definitely a learning. And more to that, sir, I mean, the kind of answers also that you have given me, given us, there's so much to learn. And I feel you have so much to offer as well, sir.
I think one thing that we have in common is we both are tell me why kind of a student.
So do you feel people are always going to be students?
Absolutely. Lifelong. So people like Warren Buffett always say that he reads for 5, 6, 7 hours a day. And when he reads for 5, 6, 7 hours a day, he keeps on thinking on what he's read. So if the author has put a certain perspective at step number 2 or 3, thinking for a couple of hours with their kind of an intellectual like Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, who are financial saints of the world, they would take that to the 10th step, only by thinking about what these people have written in their books. So only reading is not going to matter. You have to think over it, you have to take it mentally further ahead, and the most vital thing is what good things they have written, you have to implement that in your life.
So would you consider the best form of knowledge that anyone can get is through reading?
Absolutely, yes. A lot of time, you see people who think that they know all the things in the world. But I believe that there are 3 kinds of people. People who know. People who know that they don't know. And then the third category of people are people who don't know that they don't know.
a great habit that you've also inculcated, and that has honestly inspired me, because I've been having regular conversations with you, and this is one thing that I always listen to you when you say I would say a complete and a whole reader. You read for more than 5-6 hours a day, and that is a skill that I would love to acquire as well. And sir, again, I would like to thank you for your time, for your effort, and for your learnings that you have given me and all of us today. And sir, before we end the episode, is there anything you want to say to the younger generation, the words of motivation that you have already given, but anything other than that?
I think only hard work, and hard work. And strategic hard work. That means don't only work hard, work smart.
Right.
That's it.
Thank you so much, sir. Again, I hope you have a great...
My pleasure, dear. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.